Hi, this is Joe again with another movie review, and to continue my run of movies reviews of the Star Trek films. This one I'm going to be doing was generally being considered the best of the Star Trek films, even better than Star Trek 2, which I recently reviewed. Excuse me. And that is, of course, Star Trek 4. It was titled Star Trek 4: The Voyage Home, which is, basically the Enterprise crew going back to Earth after the events of, Star Trek 3. And the Enterprise crew was staying on Vulcan after the events of Star Trek 3, and they decided to go back to Earth to face Command Marshal. Because all no one wanted to be Command Marshal except for Spock and Lieutenant Savick, because she wasn't really involved with stealing the Enterprise and setting up for destruction and all that stuff. Because she just happened to be there because of what happened to her ship, which was destroyed by the Klingons. Well, while they're deciding this, and while they're preparing the Vulcan, the stolen Klingon vessel, to go back to Earth, here comes the other probe story again, which they did in the first film. But this time, the probe was different. It looked like a giant log or a piece of human excrement. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a piece of, filling the wood. And they're destroying the Earth. And trying to figure out what this probe is doing. What is this probe looking for? Because the people in Starfleet, they couldn't figure out what it was. So what they did was they sent out a warning saying, please don't come back to, please avoid Earth because of this probe. It'll be knocked out of the sky or knocked out of space. So the Enterprise crew decides to figure out this probe, and they heard what the probe's message was, or the signal was, and somehow Kirk figured out, oh, let's see how it sounds like underwater. So Lieutenant Hurl was playing around on her communications console, and it sounds like wing songs. And of course Spock says, well, and Spock went along. And I got something ahead of myself, but one thing, let me backtrack a little bit. The one thing that bothered me with Star Trek 4 was that Lieutenant Savick didn't go with the Enterprise crew back to Earth. And I always had a problem with that. Why? Because she stayed on Vulcan. There's no explanation why she was staying on Vulcan. There's no explanation why she wasn't going back to Earth with the rest of the Enterprise crew. No explanation was given. And that kind of bothered me because I was a fan of Lieutenant Savick's character. And so were a lot of Star Trek fans were. But anyway, when they figured out that this was whale songs, specifically humpback whales. So this is going to be like a Save the Whales story. There's no whales left. There's all of them been extinct already. So they decided to go travel back in time to the 20th century to try and bring two humpback whales to the future. And so they did that, and they went to San Francisco in 1986, where Starfleet headquarters eventually will be in San Francisco. And so, of course, like I said, they tried to find the whales, and they found the two whales in this Oceanic Institute in Sausalito. And they had other problems with the ship as well. The lithium crystals were collapsing, controlling the ship, so they could have problems with that. So they had to reboost the power. So they found, they had a Navy base across the bay. They figured, we'll steal some nuclear energy from the nuclear vessels, and we can, boost up the crystals. And the other thing was they're trying to have a whale tank. They have the whales inside the ship. So they had the other subplower trying to get the glass, for the ship. Then they had try to go to and they had the main plower getting the whales. Now the whale expert in this movie. Now the television fans will recognize us. It was Catherine Hicks. And of course, later on, or 10 years later, Stone in Seventh Heaven with, ironically, Stephen Collins, who would play Captain Decker in the first film. So you had two characters from Star Trek, who appeared in the Star Trek movie, years later, worked together on a television series. So it was kind of funny. And she was ironic, but originally her part was supposed to be Eddie Murphy's. But because Eddie Murphy was supposed to be in Star Trek 4, supposed to be like a UFO nut, when they had UFO experts. But thankfully, for the plot of the movie, that changed. Eventually they changed it, and they brought in Catherine Hicks, and she became a love interest to Kirk in the film. So she became an expert, and she felt upset over the fact that they were going to let the whales go. And Kirk and Spock went on a tour of the aquarium, or the institute, I should say. And Spock drove into the tank and did a mind meld with one of the whales, and he believed he communicated what they wanted to do with the whale. With the two whales. So it was a male and a female. And the female was pregnant. So of course they had all these kind of other little silly inventions doing along with it. Along with it was when they try and get the transparent aluminum from this plant, and Scotty gave the formula for the transparent aluminum to this plant manager. And McCoy says, "So you realize we're giving this formula, we could ruin the timeline. We could change history." And Scotty says to him, "How do we know that he didn't invent the thing?" And McCoy says, "Yeah, that's right." So you have that subplot, and also you have the subplot where Sulu borrows he doesn't steal it, he borrows a helicopter, and so he can lift the plates, the glass, into the ship from the tank. And of course, for the subplot with trying to get the crystals, the lithium crystals, to reboot them. Nathaniel, who I think was a commander at that point, and Chekhov go into this aircraft carrier. And the aircraft carrier was the Enterprise. A little look there. And so they beam in there. They capture they draw out the protons from the reactor. And then beams back to the ship. And so okay, no, it's Chekhov's turn, because they're only able to beam out one at a time because they're down to power. So of course Chekhov gets captured, and of course he runs off from the military guys, and he falls and gets hurt. And one of the funniest sequences is when they were in the hospital, when Kirk, McCoy, and Catherine Hicks's character goes into the hospital and looking around trying to find where Chekhov is. And McCoy walks past this old lady who was lying on a gurney. She's moaning and groaning, and he says to her, "What's the matter? What's the matter with you?" And she looks up at him and says, "Oh, kidney dialysis." Dialysis. McCoy's like, "My God, what is this? The Dark Ages?" He reads into the doctor's bag, gives him a pill. Here, you swallow that. If any problems, just call me. And of course, later on, as they're escaping with Chekhov, you see the old lady again. He goes, "That doctor gave me a pill and I grew a new kidney." Then we get the pills. You guys have a brand new kidney. And I just want fully functional. Yeah, fully functional. I mean, it was like one lighthearted joke after another, and that's how they. That's what more people who weren't diehard Star Trek fans were relating to this movie, because he had one constant joke after another. Because after going through that other two movies, which was more serious, and very few jokes in them, they decided to line it up a little bit and try to take it, an easier time of it. And that's what they decided to do with the fourth one. So of course, eventually they got everybody back, and they found out that the whales left earlier than they were supposed to. They left in the middle. They left last night and wasn't told. It was great. We had to go to Alaska to get them. And we could trace. Or you could tell me what the tracking, the tracking devices are, what was the frequency, and we could track them. And Catherine Hicks told him, I said, look, you need me. I said, I gotta help, the whales. I'm the only one who can help you. How many? You don't know any. The people in the 21st century doesn't know anything about whales. And he says, yeah, you're right. So what they did was she jumped on Kirk and got beamed onto the ship. And of course they found out that Spock was actually an alien with the pointy ears, because he has ears covered throughout the whole movie. And that's when at that point that's when they can't save Chekhov from the hospital. And of course after that, then they went for the whales, and they saved the whales. And the whales one was hunted by these whale hunters. And then of course they had to go travel back into the future to Earth in the 23rd century. And of course what they did was they let the whales out, and the ship crashed into San Francisco Bay, and the whales were freed. They got them out, or Kirk got them out of the ship. And then of course they communicated to the probe, and the probe left, and that was it, and everything was restored. The planet Earth was saved by the Enterprise crew. And then of course at the end they had the hearing. And what happened was, of course, the Enterprise crew gets off on all charges. And of course the Catherine Hicks character, she goes onto a science vessel, and then we got separated, and unfortunately you never saw Catherine Hicks' character anymore in the Star Trek movies, which was a shame, because you really grown to like that character. And of course they ended up getting a new ship. And of course they figured, we got a new. And McCoy believes he's going out like a freight, and we're going out a freighter. And of course Sulu wants the Excelsior, which was a ship that was established in the third film. McCoy says, why are you guys naming what that ship for? And then eventually they got a brand new Enterprise with NCC 1701-A. And of course, you knew they were going to have how 1701-A established, because within a year, Star Trek The Next Generation would air on the syndicated airways in September of 1987, and that was called the Enterprise D. So you have to know what happened to A, B, and C. Well, we found out what happened to the Enterprise A, because that was established in the end of 4, going in the next 2 films after that. And that's how Star Trek 4 ends, which is generally the best one of the whole, considered the best one out of the whole series. Well, as much as I like 4, I also like Star Trek 2 and 3 as well in the series. Then, now it's one going downhill from now, because the next movie is considered to be the worst one, which is the film I'm going to discuss next. So that's my review for Star Trek 4 Voyage Home. Please like the video, comment on it, and subscribe to my page. And Catch you guys later.